Speaking of people who, oh no, I think most people in this episode did kind of know what to say. Transition time.
Transition, yeah.
All right. X-Men 97.
Yes. Yeah. So we're on episode 8, or is it 9? 8.
No, I don't.
We're close to 10.
We're on 6. Let's see here. Quickly to the research.
I put 8 in the description, so hopefully I got that right.
Here's the thing. It's been so long since I've been doing appointment television that
Yeah.
it's easy to keep track.
Okay, Ninja says it's 8.
Okay, it was 8. See,
all right.
See, I think in my mind I mentally delete the Storm episodes.
Yeah, because those were like...
They were there.
Yes. Yeah, so episode 8 picks up after the incident in Mandapore when the X-Men find out that the new baddie, the big baddie Bastion, is making human form Sentinels. Basically, they're kind of like the Borg. I noticed very much like they're being assimilated. Yeah.
Oh, like the Cybermen from Doctor Who,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah,
like most of the time they're indistinguishable from regular person, but then their powers activate. And it's basically like dealing with a sentinel the size of a person.
Yeah, and we find out that it was developed by Mr. Sinister, and it was he gave the virus to Nathan Summers as a baby, and then Bishop took him to the future, and now Nathan Summers is Cable.
Yep. I listened to Rob Liefeld's podcast on Cable, and people were very excitedly emailing and messaging him when Cable showed up.
Yeah. What was interesting was when I was hearing the voice, at first I thought that they actually got Josh Brolin back to play Cable again, because he sounds a lot like Josh Brolin, but it's not. It's actually the original voice actor for Cyclops from the old show.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But we found out in the last episode that Magneto did not die in Genosha, and he's being held captive by Bastion and about to be turned into another human form Sentinel. And we find out that Bastion's got some very powerful friends.
Yes, Baron Zemo, Dr. Doom, what I presume was Madam Hydra, that you couldn't get a good look at her.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Madam Hydra. If you got Dr. Doom, yes, it's gonna be her.
Yeah.
Right. Like what other villainess in the Marvel universe would be on that sort of level?
Exactly.
Yeah. Although I'm gonna just say it right now, I don't think we're gonna get the Marvel characters in a major way. Like I think that I could be wrong, but I think that the only clash you're going to have between an X-Man and a Marvel character is when Rogue was pissy and threw away Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So this episode has less. It has less subplot than some of the others have had, because you have a lot of big action scenes, and holy crap. Like some episodes have had some kind of janky animation in places. This was amazing fight animation.
It was, yeah. There's a really great sequence in there with where they're in the mansion where Wolverine and Nightcrawler are fighting a bunch of the human Sentinels.
Yeah.
In Nightcrawler, so they keep doing interesting things with the characters that you wouldn't think of. I don't think I recall Nightcrawler fighting with 3 swords at once, using his tail as a limb.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that either.
I think I sort of want to say yeah in a way, because X-Men 2, the live action, I want to say but with it was just the knife. It wasn't with swords, obviously. But I was just like, well,
Oh, right. Yeah.
I kind of see it.
Yeah. Ninja says a good thing Magneto was unconscious, otherwise it was result in an Ultimate Alliance situation.
What a good game!
Yeah.
What a great game! I mean,
I only ever played the second one, and I played the Wii version. And then years later, I found out that the 360 and PS3 versions had these character trailers, and I'm like, oh. And then
there
and
was
then I got more annoyed because I said to myself, wait, the 360 version fit on one DVD. The Wii version didn't have as much textures. There was space on that DVD for the trailers, you cheap bastards.
Yeah.
Anyway, still a fun game, but the gimped version.
Mm.
Yeah, you got all these really cool fight scenes.
Yeah.
Wolverine, he's been kind of in the background the whole time. He got to just cut loose because, well, he was dealing with robots, and that was always the rule in X-Men. If you weren't a robot, if Wolverine would either be punching and tackling you without his claws for some reason, or he'd be ineffectual.
Right. Yeah. It's those pesky standards and practices that they had with with kids shows.
Yep. Really
Yeah.
hurt Wolverine the most, but you got all sorts of cool things like Wolverine teleporting with Nightcrawler at one point, and like showing Wolverine's first-person perspective of just how disorienting it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty neat. Yeah.
I almost thought something had gone wrong, but then I realized, no, this is just what teleporting looks like.
Yeah.
You got to have Jean, Scott, and Cable in a plane / car chase with an army of these biosentinels.
Yeah. Yeah, they go to Bastion's childhood home where his elderly mother is, and then we get into his backstory a little bit, where there's a lot of as they would say in Doctor Who, uh, timey wimey wobbly stuff going on.
Wibbly wobble, yep.
Wibble wobble, yeah.
Yep. All right, where somebody in the future manipulated the genes of Bastion's father so that he would be born a human sentinel.
Right. Yeah. And Ninja says at least Wolverine had a bunch of solo episodes in the OG show. That's true. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. And you know what? Honestly, as much as I love Wolverine, he's my favorite childhood character. I still love a good Wolverine story. You don't want to have it be Wolverine and the X-Men, which I hear is a fine cartoon, but he should not be the only primary character of X-Men. That's been kind of what's been nice with this series.
Yeah. They've given more more of the characters time to shine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really, as far as if we look at the characters on this cover, the character that suffered the most was Bishop. It's like, was he just there so that he could take Cable to the future? I think he was just there so he could take Cable to the future.
I think he was, yeah.
and for a couple of fight scenes, but still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like this whole episode is just a series of hype notes, culminating in. Look, if you've been watching these reviews by now, you should expect some spoilers. Spoiler.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I guess we should address the subplot. Sunspot does finally. He is finally outed as a mutant in a way that his parents can't deny. And he and Jubilee get some. So it's funny. The show actually kind of subverts expectations in a fun way, because with all the wild and crazy ways that characters have been using their powers, and like Cyclops using his impact beams to scoot around, like he's sliding.
Yeah.
All the ways that Gambit used his kinetic charging. It looks like Jubilee's about to jump from one roof to another using her firework powers to propel herself. Does not work.
Nope. she makes it about 2 feet in the air, and then
and Sunspot catches her. And I remember thinking, wait, Sunspot can fly? And then Jubilee goes, wait, you can fly?
Yeah.
Or she just been going, everyone can fly but me. Then she goes, you too?
Yeah.
They fly now?
Oh, oh, no.
You mean it. Uh,
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Somehow Palpatine returned.
God.
okay,
Somehow
transition.
Magneto returned.
Somehow
Yes.
Magneto returned because
Yeah.
he ends this episode, and I remember thinking the whole time, I don't see how the X-Men are going to solve this. It is a Borg situation.
Yeah.
Once you have a
Mm-hmm.
Borg infestation, you have to do like a Warhammer 40K Exterminatus to cleanse the Earth or something to just make sure they're gone.
Yeah, and that's basically what he does.
Yeah, Magneto goes up to the North Pole after he escapes with the help of a human character who a lot of people I think were theorizing online was Mystique in disguise, but I guess that theory is debunked now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. No, that does. It would be interesting if they. I guess they decide to flesh her out if they ever do. I mean, could be, a potential new character right there that could might have a following at some point in time in the future, maybe.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess as much as emphasis as they've been giving Nightcrawler and Rogue, it would make sense to have some more Mystique moments later. I
Yeah.
guess
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
we'll just have to wait
Yeah.
for that. But
Yeah.
Magneto goes to the North Pole and proceeds to EMP the entire planet, shutting down all technology simultaneously, including the fleshy Sentinels.
Yes. And then right around that same time, guess who's back?
Somehow, Professor X returned.
Yes.
I mean,
And yeah.
I mean, okay, we know somehow with his girlfriend's spaceship.
Yes.
yep. Yep.
And and Ninja mentions it too here. We also had a cameo from our favorite web slinger.
Yes,
The word.
Spider did actually have a little cameo in the original '90s X-Men cartoon. I distinctly remember this.
Mhm.
It was like when Phoenix was going out of control and the Earth was going to get destroyed. At one point, you have some like a disaster's happening in New York, and you see his hand come out onto the panel, and he's webbing something.
Uh,
So you get to see much more of him this time.
yeah. Now, is this the
Hmm.
same Spider-Man from the cartoon show, the
Like
90s
the
cartoon show?
90s? Yeah, I
Good
hope so.
question. Unanswered.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, that Spider-Man had a much bigger cameo from the X-Men in his own cartoon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah. But yeah.
So, yeah, like it was like a 2-episode miniseries for that one.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know about you guys, but the whole time I'm watching this, I keep thinking, "Holy crap! They are swinging for the fences on this one."
Hmm.
And while the show can occasionally move a bit too quickly, like I would say that we maybe could have used a couple of episodes in between Cable showing up again and then figuring out that he's Nathan.
Yeah.
The, the credit I'll give them is that since they are pulling from the old cartoon and Cable had multiple episodes in that one, that it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing from another YouTuber, one that we watch, Jester Bell. She was saying that I guess Bo DeMeo, the guy who was in charge of the show, he was kind of lamenting that they could only do 10 episodes. That he kind of wished they could
Mhm.
do the old traditional 22 episode season. That way, some of those storylines could get fleshed out, and don't feel like all the episodes are so rushed. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so it was a known issue.
Hmm.
Okay, you know what? This is one of those shows where I would say this kind of gets the same sort of mental treatment for me as say the Star Wars prequels does, where it's like, okay, you have a great idea, and sometimes the execution is lacking in little places, but the overall effect is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
I
that
agree with that.
this one you don't have to have as many caveats as you do for the prequels.
Right. Yeah.
The worst I could say is that you can safely skip episodes 4 and 6 and just assume that Storm got better off camera.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I remember people saying that this show was going to be bad, but then when it came out, people were quick to praise it, and rightfully so. So I just kind of wonder. I was like, I was kind of in the boat too. I'll be honest. I was kind of in the boat where I was like, okay, it's gonna be something really stupid. They're just using nostalgia just to twist and turn something that we once loved into this whole big, thing that shouldn't be. But I've been thoroughly surprised with what I've seen.
Yeah.
Especially with I forgot the guy's name, the director, the
Bodenheim.
director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna use it as like a preaching position, but no. And just to find out that they actually like got rid of him after, I was like, that's kind of. It makes me wonder, like, okay, it's obvious that he has a lot of love for this, so is it like some internal conflict? It has to be some internal conflict where they're thinking, where you got those weirdos in one side, just him on the other side. Just like, no, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it this way. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna make it into this whole uh uh big topic of whatever the usual stuff they use as propaganda or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, like
so
like here's the thing is that you can pull things from it if you want to, but it's doing what the X-Men has historically been good at doing, which is couching issues in a fantastical way that makes you think about it. Like it takes the labels out of
right,
it and makes you think a little
Yeah.
bit.
right,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Compared to the new stuff in what's going on in the comics.
Man,
Oh,
maybe that's why they fired him because he was embarrassing them too much.
that's why. That's probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Those
Yeah,
type of
maybe.
people are very jealous.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I haven't heard anything else about that whole OnlyFans situation that happened right before the show dropped. And
Wait, what?
Yeah. Apparently, he supposedly had an OnlyFans account.
that was reportedly of a non-adult nature, and then it may have turned out to be an adult nature,
Yeah.
um, which I don't know. I only know what I heard.
Yeah.
Uh, I
I
don't know if that was an excuse because like
I think so. It
this
sounds like
is this is so good that
Yeah.
uh, I'm going to say something like there was an interview that happened before it came out. The show kind of showed a lot of the usual red flags.
yeah,
Like talking about how he was going to pull from his experience. Like, he said something to the effect of, "I am a gay black man with
I
an
remember that.
adopted Asian sister. I'm going to pull from that experience to inform the show."
Yeah.
Well, it turned out that what he meant was that he was going to pull from his experience of feeling like being othered to write these mutants, which is exactly the best case scenario for that line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's who the X-Men have traditionally been. They've been, they've been the outsiders and looked down upon. And yeah, which kind of which still is really kind of confusing, given that he checks all those boxes off that they like so much. Those diversity boxes, and they still got rid of them. It's like,
It just goes to show that uh, talent is everywhere, and so and that anybody can be a real fan of the series. So
yeah,
uh, uh, the thing is that when I was so shocked. I
yeah,
just uh,
yeah,
like when this show actually came out and was great because I kept thinking to myself, okay, it's time for another drubbing of something I loved when I was a kid.
yeah,
I'll probably watch an episode or two for the show, and then but no, like this is now the only show that I'm really watching week to week.
yeah, yeah. Same here.
yeah. I I hope they don't try to renew it for another season because
I
I
think
want
they have.
I want to
Yeah,
say that it
they
was
have.
well.
yeah,
So my understanding is that Bo was involved with 2 seasons worth,
yeah,
and it's a possible third season that wouldn't have him involved.
yeah,
That
I mean, it's still. I think it's still a little bit too early just to tell. It may have. This season may be good. Like like Castlevania, that first season may be good, but then when you get later down the line, it kind of starts. Okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, here's the thing: it can always go wrong, but for the time being, I'm just so happy that it went right.
Yes. Yeah, me too. And Ninja mentioned something kind of interesting. He was surprised there wasn't much controversy with Rogue dropping Trask. Well, that might come up later on. You never know.
Right? Are you talking controversy online? Because I've been seeing some people.
I think he meant controversy within the characters on the show.
Well, to be fair, when shortly after they found out about it, Rogue was wound up in a coma, and she's still been in a coma in the midst of a larger disaster. It might be a conversation later.
Yeah.
I saw somebody speculating that Rogue made an enemy of General Thunderbolt Ross in that episode
Yeah.
when he had thought that the X-Men were good guys up to that point. We know how he treats the Hulk, so she may have just made more trouble for them in the future.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. He meant online. Yeah.
There's some controversy. Part of it is that there's a lot of people out there who have an inability to divorce their love of a character from their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I really enjoy and sympathize with this character, therefore anything they do is okay.
Right. Yeah.
Griffith did nothing wrong.
But
yeah.
So I think that Daniel, would that be safe to say that was the high point of our week of reviewing stuff?
I would say so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So